Joining me now is Senate Chairman of the National Iranian Congress and author of Comrade Ayatollah, Amir Fkhrar, along with retired U.S. Army Colonel and former senior military advisor to Afghan forces in Helmand Province, Bill Connor. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Amir, I want to go to you first. There are reports, and this has been much discussed in the media, that the President of the United States was briefed by the CIA that Ayatollah Khamenei's son, who is now in charge, is gay, and that his father did not want him to take his power and be named the new successor. Now that he's been named, we laugh about that here in the United States. It's not a big thing to be a homosexual. However, in Iran, it's a very different situation. I just want you to describe that situation in Iran, because I think it's important that we have their human rights violations on record.
Thank you for having me. And maybe the part you don't know that his father, the supreme leader himself, was gay too, and he was called at the Iraqi parliament by a prominent parliament member of Iraq as Al-Farah. Those who know Arabic, I want them to go and search what does it mean, Al-Farah. And yes, the supreme leader himself and the son and many in his entourage, they are part of LGBTQ community, I guess. And but it's not a big deal. The case is Mujtaba Khamenei is almost dead. He is not alive. As President Trump mentioned in his press conference, it's a news out that he lost his leg. He was attacked twice, and then he's in coma. His face is not recognizable, kind of. That's the reason you cannot see him, and he's not in a good shape, and he cannot survive. And the regime right now is just trying to manage the media with the misinformation and disinformation campaign with the help of AI. That's the only thing they are doing to just tell everybody that they are okay, but they are not. The leadership is totally gone.
Bill, I want to talk to you about what the president outlined as success today, this morning at his press conference. He says that the U.S. has struck 7,000 targets in Iran. There's a 90% reduction in ballistic missile launches from the regime, 95% reduction in drone attacks, and 100-plus Iranian vessels have been sunk or destroyed. How do you think the U.S.-Israeli military campaign has gone operationally since it was launched about 2 weeks ago?
No, thanks, Kelly. It is definitely ahead of schedule and what I would have expected at this point with a country of 92 million people, multiple times the size of Iraq. It's been incredible. The air campaign really will go down in history. I think as the top, if not one of the top, that we've ever seen. Now becomes a bit more the challenge of continuing to ratchet down the pressure. And I think the key I see is Kharbin Island. 90% of the oil exports from Iran come through Kharbin Island, and the issue is that it's too shallow off the coast of Iran itself, so they've got to use the island. And we pounded the island already. We didn't pound the oil areas, but we got that. And in fact, I think right now what's going on is a lot of psychological operations with Kharbin Island, in that we've got this few thousand Marines that are coming in that could take Kharbin Island. So that message is sent to whatever remaining leadership is left within Iran, the IRGC, and they know we can take it. It's only 5 miles long, about 2.5 miles wide. Wouldn't be that difficult. So that's what's going on right now, and I think we are reaching somewhat of the end state. Now, I will say that the tough part's going to be what's going to happen on the ground, because I don't believe we're going to send ground forces in. So what happens with the Iraqis, or excuse me, the Iranians themselves, the Persians? Do the Kurds come in? There's a lot of questions on that right now.
And we know the importance, the strategic importance of the island is that 90% of Iranian oil is processed through it. And the fact that the president said that he's left this oil processing capability on the island because it takes years to rebuild and he didn't want to decimate it so the country would have, money moving forward if there was perhaps a regime change. Amir, I want to talk to you, and you briefly mentioned this in the answer to your first question about the AI fakes. And the president cited this on Air Force One last night, that reporters here in the U.S. were reporting on this rally that was supposedly taking in Iran over the supreme leader. 250,000 people were gathered honoring his legacy, and that turned out to be an AI fact, but it was reported on as truth here in this country. How effective is Iran's AI disinformation campaign?
The regime's disinformation campaign is successful somehow because the liberal media, the mainstream media, they want to hear that. It's fit with their narrative to say, yeah, it's a regime is not done. It's the President Trump couldn't do the job. U.S. and Israeli army couldn't do the job. The media, they wanted to hear, the mainstream media. That's the reason they are just helping the regime misinformation campaign. But the reality is, right now, it's a great chance. The leadership is definitely gone, and the Navy is gone, Air Force is gone in Iran, everything is gone. And right now, definitely we need the United States help. We need United States to go. If you are worried about us, the Iranians, if we accept U.S. to grab Khارک Island, we love it. Please go and do it. We know you are not going to occupy Iran. You didn't occupy Japan, but you helped Japan for last 80 years to not be occupied by Russians and Chinese. And we need to have probably the biggest base for American military in Khārk Island. And from there, then U.S. can go and help entire country to be free. We are ready for that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. We know that we've got assets being relocated from Japan to the Middle East, a lot of them including about 2,000 Marines. It'll be interesting to see if boots on the ground are needed to straighten out the Strait of Hormuz and make sure that traffic flows freely in and out of it. But we'll have to wait and see if that happens. Amir Fakhravar, Bill Connor, thank you both for joining me today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.